Liquid Snake! Did you like my sunglasses?
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're fighting, crying, and then probably swearing. These are the 20 hardest bosses in PS1 games. Let's give it a crack, and probably another crack, pretty soon after that first crack. Before we continue, we publish content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of our latest videos. Dr. N. Brio Crash Bandicoot. Dr. N. Brio is one of the toughest boss fights in the original Crash Bandicoot, combining a necessity for timing with unpredictable attack patterns. It's a truly devastating combo. The battle is split into two phases. Classic. First, Brio throws dangerous beakers, green ones that can be bounced back and purple ones that spawn mutant blobs. These enemies quickly overwhelm the player if not dealt with pretty damn quickly. Once enough damage is done, the second phase begins. Brio mutates into a hulking monster that leaps across the screen. It's as rough as platforming bosses can get. Faust, the Legend of Dragu. Before we start, I need everybody to know that this game has been re-released on modern consoles and you should definitely go play it. Anyways, back to my job. The Legend of Dragu, much like Final Fantasy, has optional bosses that are incredibly tough. The worst of these is Faust. With an arsenal of elemental spells, he exploits players' weaknesses and deals massive damage every turn. He floats out of reach of physical attacks, which, I don't need to tell you, sucks. Screw this dude. Willard, Tomb Raider 3. We'll probably catch some flack for this, but hear me out. Sure, Willard isn't the most exciting final battle in Tomb Raider 3, as he lacks the spectacle you'd expect after everything that's come before. That said, the fight becomes genuinely tough once Willard transforms into a spider-like creature, because, of course, it's a f***ing spider. He relentlessly chases you as you scramble to collect all 4 artifacts. Miss even one, and he's immortal. Yay. Float Stinger, Silent Hill. Come on now, think back. This one definitely deserves a spot on the list, and if you disagree, do badly in school, resort to starting a YouTube channel where you develop enough skills to work for WatchMojo, and then you can make a list about the hardest PS1 bosses. Virgin. While some of the other bosses in the original Silent Hill are pretty easy to deal with, the criminally underrated Float Stinger stands out as a real challenge, especially on hard mode. This giant moth-like creature hovers constantly. It can stay at a distance and spew acid or suddenly swoop in with a deadly sting. Also, the camera is kind of broken, so it almost always comes at you from off screen. Galamoth, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Galamoth, found deep in the inverted catacombs, is a towering optional boss and is brutal, capable of wiping out your health in seconds with devastating attacks. His sheer size and power make him a major threat, both to gamers and PS1 structural integrity. It's surprisingly easy to break a PS1 in half. Technically, there is one item that helps you cheese this boss, but I'm not telling you because I want you to suffer as I do. Ragu O Regula, Wild Arms 2. The toughest boss by far in the cult classic Wild Arms series is Ragu O Regula, a recurring optional super boss, but we're focusing on his appearance in the second entry. Known for his overwhelming power, Ragu can often one-shot your entire party, making him a proper threat. There's nothing worse than watching that come at you with nothing to stop it. Most viable strategies rely on repeatedly putting him to sleep and chipping away at his health, a slow, repetitive process, but often the only way to survive this brutal encounter. Adam Crowley, Nightmare Creatures. In Nightmare Creatures, players choose between Ignatius or Nadia as their protagonists as they battle through a monster-infested London. No matter who you choose, this boss can suck my nightmarish creature. The plot centers around Adam Crowley, a twisted alchemist intent on unleashing a horde of grotesque creatures to plunge the city into chaos. In the final battle, Crowley takes on a demonic form, becoming the game's toughest boss. He can kill your character in just a few hits. It's almost too easy to die. Sigma Mega Man X3. I probably could have said earlier that some of these aren't PS1 exclusives, but I'm saying it now because putting Mega Man on a PlayStation list is egregious. That being said, it is still a PS1 game, technically. A relentless storm of fireballs, shield throws, rockets, and screen-filling lasers. That's Sigma in a nutshell. The hardest part of this fight is trying to read his erratic projectile patterns, and guess what? You can't. It's completely unpredictable. Devil Kazuya Tekken 2. Perfect. If you joined this series before the immensely popular Tekken 3, you will have the same recurring nightmare that I do. Devil Kazuya standing over you laughing, calling you a fat loser. Just me? Kazuya's already no pushover in stage 9, but in stage 10 he sprouts wings and starts shooting laser beams from his eyes. And it's these lasers that are the problem for players. The lasers are unpredictable, nearly impossible to block or dodge, and they deal massive damage. The only strategy is to give him no room to attack, which is not easy. M. Bison Street Fighter 2. Again, not a PS1 exclusive, but by 1998, Street Fighter 2 had left the arcades and entered the homes of Sony fans, ready to ruin their day, and M. Bison is the most day-ruining of day-ruiners. He instantly leaves a mark with a brutal moveset that feels more aggressive and devastating than anything you faced up at that point. His signature Psycho Crusher alone is enough to wipe the floor with you. Bison set the bar for every overpowered endgame rival that followed in gaming. Omega Weapon Final Fantasy VIII. The toughest bosses in Final Fantasy games are rarely the main villains. It's usually a side boss, an optional boss, or a tiny, surprising creature. While Ultimecia and her sorceress minions offer a solid challenge, yes, it's the optional Omega Weapon that truly tests your skills. Boasting over 1 million HP, defeating Omega Weapon demands expert mastery of the game's junction system, a system that still gets heat from a lot of players. Without a well-handled junction system, your party will suffer devastating attacks that can instantly knock out or one-shot your entire team. Liquid Snake Metal Gear Solid.
Liquid Snake! Did you like my sunglasses?
This is one of those fights where even seasoned MGS players who have completed it 10,000 times will still find themselves getting beaten randomly on their 10,001st playthrough and saying, wait, what the hell? It's difficult purely for difficulty's sake. After taking down the towering nuclear weapon Metal Gear Rex, you face Liquid in a close quarters fight using the clunky PlayStation 1 controls, all while racing against a timer. So close to the game's conclusion, a stealth-focused title throws you into a tense fistfight under strict time pressure. What the f***, Kojima? Goro Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Mortal Kombat 1 was re-released on the PS1 in the form of the Mortal Kombat Trilogy, and the original game didn't relent with its brutal second-in-command, Goro. Immune to throws and capable of breathing fire and leaping incredible distances, Goro is a formidable challenge. As a four-arm powerhouse, he's a perfect gatekeeper, having won the previous 9 Mortal Kombat tournaments. Even with the other entries available at the time, Goro's fight in the first game remains the most frustrating and difficult. No matter your fighter or strategy, some days he'll still just wipe the floor with you. Nemesis Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
Jill!
Brad!
We've got a...
Hey, remember Nemesis? You don't? Then you've never played Resident Evil 3 because there's no way you'd forget this towering colossus. The first encounter sees him brutally kill your partner Brad with a grotesque tentacle to the face, and not in the fun, weird website kind of way. He relentlessly hunts you throughout the game, forcing you to burn through valuable ammo and healing supplies just to survive. Every time you think you finally defeated him, he just keeps coming back, like any iconic horror villain should, I guess. Guildenstern Vagrant Story. At the peak of Square's RPG reign, Vagrant Story stood out, and that's when Final Fantasy was at its peak, just about to drop Final Fantasy X. The game is packed with demanding boss battles that require meticulous strategy, but the final showdown with Guildenstern is on another level. After absorbing dark energy to become a monstrous force, he unleashes devastating regular attacks and screen-filling abilities accompanied by lengthy cutscenes. Miss the blink and you'll miss it button prompt to deflect the damage and you'll pay dearly. It's an unforgiving finale to an already pretty brutal game. Can we just cut it with the button prompts, please? Jesus. Mitochondria Eve, Parasite Eve 2. Take Square, grab a director who worked on Resident Evil, and you get Parasite Eve 2, one of the best survival horror games on the PS1, with one of the hardest bosses of all time. The final boss is another form of Mitochondria Eve from the original game, and the battle is tough. Tough as nails. Victory demands strong combat instincts, resource management, and sharp strategy. Also, if Eve decides to be unusually aggressive, which depends on how many of her body parts you destroyed in the earlier phase, the fight becomes significantly harder. It's such an unusual punishment for doing a good job. Wiegraf Velius Final Fantasy Tactics. In a game built around teamwork, the battle against Wiegraf throws you into a brutal solo fight. If you haven't spent enough time grinding in random battles to boost your personal stats, you're basically doomed. Even if you're prepared, success hinges on speed and strategy, and that's just phase 1. Wiegraf then transforms into the demon Velius, summoning more demons to join the fight. Thankfully, your party returns, but the challenge doesn't let up. It's somehow way harder, even with more help. Indalecio, Star Ocean, the second story.
I'm erasing you.
Star Ocean, the second story, is already challenging on its standard Earth difficulty, but it also offers 2 harder modes, Galaxy and Universe. These set you up for one of the hardest games you can ever experience. With some of the toughest bosses in JRPG history, it demands hours of grinding just to stand a chance. The most brutal of them all is Indalecio with his limiter removed. While the limiter is a story-related mechanic that drastically reduces his power, disabling it unleashes his full strength, making him nearly unbeatable. Many of his attacks can wipe out your entire party in a single hit. The recipe that we've learned makes the worst tasting cake you'll ever eat.
What is the significance of my existence?
It was okay.
Space Mama Rayman. Space Mama from Rayman is often hailed as one of the toughest boss fights of the entire PlayStation 1 era. It's as brutal as a fight gets, and it's not optional. Dodging her laser shots is tough enough, but once she starts spinning across the screen and hurling pressure cookers, chaos truly begins. It's one of those fights where you have to just accept you're gonna die a bunch. There's no way around it. Eventually though, you will win. Just power on and persevere. Emerald Weapon, Final Fantasy VII. Let's take another look at an optional JRPG boss, and arguably the hardest boss on the PS1. Well, at least I'm gonna make that argument. Lurking beneath the ocean and only reachable by submarine, Emerald Weapon already brings a creepy vibe to the fight. What truly makes it terrifying is its colossal 1 million HP, multiple times more than Sephiroth himself. He can wipe your party with one hit. And oh, I totally forgot, there's a 20-minute timer. Enjoy. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of our latest videos.